Now, the role played by the STDF was an important one in Sri Lanka's achievement of the first ever Protected Geographical Indication, or the PGI. And we would like to thank you and your team, Mr. Spray, for always being supportive of Sri Lanka and its endeavors as well. Now, over the years, the EU and its member states have provided more than 1 billion euros in assistance to Sri Lankan people, and that is no secret. In recent years, the EU has also supported Sri Lanka's agricultural sector development, including the ongoing Bespa Food Project as well, which is led by UNIDO and co-implemented by the Food and Agricultural Organization, or the FAO. Now, to share a few words about the work carried out by the EU in Sri Lanka, we would like to invite a very special gentleman once again, and that is the Head of Cooperation for the EU Delegation to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Dr. Johann Hesse. If you could speak a few words.
Honorable Minister of Industries and Health, Dr. Pratirana, very nice to see you again, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and your colleagues from other embassies, organizations, and the wider area. So very nice to meet you this morning. Yes, the European Union has funded the VESPA program, but I'd like to start to say that the European Union is actually many different things. We are a market. We have our market regulations for cinnamon. We have already heard the issue of the geographical indication that we have issued, that we have granted to cinnamon from Sri Lanka. So we have different things in the EU. We are the market. We are the trade policy standard setting body in the European Union. But we are also the ones providing support. So on the one hand side, we set the standards. On the other hand side, we like to support our partners to meet those standards. I think it's very important for you to understand that these are two sides of the same story at the end of the day. And for the issue we are discussing today, the success story of cinnamon, but what it can also possibly mean for pepper, cloves, nutmeg, and other spices. This is all very relevant for us because we have something that we call the policy area of the green recovery and our cooperation with Sri Lanka. We called it green recovery some years back. Maybe we should soon talk about green transition more than recovery, because for how long are we going to recover? So let's see. But in any case, it is about the green growth, the green policy that are needed for Sri Lanka to move forward, and we are very pleased to support Sri Lanka on this journey. When it comes to some particular programs that we have funded in this regard, the Vespa Food Project has already been mentioned, and we're very pleased to have our friends from UNIDO doing such a great job. FAO is also participating in this program. Yes, and the cinnamon has been a success in terms of granting the status of the GI. Now the question is about the spices. Could this be something that could be also done for other products? And as my colleague just explained already, spices have a long history, of course, in Sri Lanka, and everybody knows about spices. So there is, of course, the idea that these spices might have some potential that we could build on and learn the lessons from the cinnamon. I think many of us would immediately also agree to the idea that there's potential, because as my colleague already said, you go to shops around the world and you don't yet see any clearly branded spices from Sri Lanka. They are coming from elsewhere. If you're lucky, you see some Ceylon used as a brand, but that Ceylon, anybody can print the word Ceylon on anything these days. So again, we are coming back to this issue of the protection of the brand. But the potential alone, I think, ladies and gentlemen, might, the theoretical, the lovely idea and the workshop in Colombo, to talk about the potential is a nice thing, but But I think it's also clear that these things will not happen by themselves. So for that, we would need to see what support would be needed. We are very happy also to know that there is already a very good collaboration with so many stakeholders ongoing now. I'm also very pleased to see my other colleagues from Japan, for example, here today. So the collaboration between different partners is already there, also with the government agencies, the private sector, and so on and so forth. So I think there's a very good basis, so we should really now see what needs to be done concretely. I think if the objective at the end of the day is to export more spices from Sri Lanka, the question also is, at the end of the day, for some of us, who will benefit from this? And I would just like you to have a look at the lovely book that our friends from UNIDO published already in August, but there is some very interesting findings in the analysis of supply chains in there. For example, if you look at the one from pepper, I don't know now the page, but you will find it, and you look at the chart, how the supply chain is organized, you will see that between the farm level and the exporter, there's about 5 different levels of people involved in there. The village buyer, the processor, some other guy doing this, in the end some exporter, and so on and so forth. So 5 boxes in that chart. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, if we now do something to support spices, the question will be, who benefits from this? So we would like, of course, to benefit, like that Sri Lanka benefits, but who in Sri Lanka? Which of all the boxes? And frankly speaking, some of us come from a context where, we like to support sustainable development. My dear colleague from the Japan embassy is wearing the SDG logo on this. So, we are in this world. We like to emphasize that our support has to benefit the smallholder farmers. Let's be frank, at the end of the day, we're talking about poverty issues here. So if that is the objective, we'll have to go back to that supply chain analysis and be very clear which of the boxes we want to support here. And this is, I think, very important for our discussion here, because also for the cinema it's the same story. Who benefits from that additional value of the cinema? At the end of the day, we are very interested to see that additional value trickles down to the farmer level. For some of you, it might be an automatic thing, but technically to do that is significant because of all the different boxes in the supply chain. And allow me a remark. I actually think that what makes this whole story successful in the end is if, from the beginning, you have a very clear market in mind for where do you want to sell your products. Because many a times I come across situations in Sri Lanka where there's a discussion about production, some fancy technology or some new this or some new that, but this is all very good. But in the end of the day, where are these things being sold? So the geographical indication cinnamon, this geographical indication has been arranged for the European market, so that's already clear. The market is there. But now for the spices, where are these markets going to be? I've seen in some of the analysis of the supply chain that, for example, pepper, the biggest importer is India, followed by my own home country, Germany. So we have a different market for these spices already in front of us. So where are you going to sell those products with an added value, for example, from the GI? I would just like to invite you to think about that from the beginning. You're looking at the European market, the German market. What do you need to do to get to it? So I hope in the end it will be a success. I'm looking forward, Honorable Minister, to maybe go to a nice farm one day and we visit some spice farmer who has now managed to sell the pepper or the cloves over next to some high value market somewhere. I'm confident this will happen with all of you and all of our collaboration. So I want to express my optimism for this and invite us to really work together in the same way that we did already for the seminar. Finally, let me thank my dear colleagues from UNIDO for pulling this off and organizing this great event this morning, and also, last but not least, for the really well done publications. This is already from August, but they gave us another one this morning. Well done. So let's keep up the good work. Thank you very much for your attention.